Hey everyone, it's Lori, and I am here today with a book haul. It's been a little while since I did my last book haul, but apparently I should have done it sooner because I have quite a few books here. Now, this book haul is mostly used books with some gifts as well, so I'm going to go ahead and start with kind of young adult junior fiction books, then move into adult fiction, then do some nonfiction. So, getting started. The first thing I want to talk about is 4 books that my sister-in-law gave to my girls. I think she was just cleaning off her shelves and she asked if they wanted them, and we don't usually say no to books. So that is the Aragon series, which may or may not be in the correct order here, but I think this is the order they go in. It looks like when I put these into my library thing, we already have a copy of Aragon, so I'll probably declutter one of those eventually. Whichever one's in better condition we'll probably keep. So I think my girls have seen the movie based on the first book, and I'm not sure if anybody's actually read the first book yet, but we have heard good things about the series, and I know they were written by a homeschooled boy, when he started anyway. He's grown now and still writing. So these are just kind of a nice addition for when one of us feels like kind of a fantasy series. The other YA book we have is The Love Curse of Melody Mccintyre. And this was in one of Eva's Spearcraft book boxes. It was the YA musical theater or something like that. So Charlotte was super excited about all the stuff that was going to be in it. Eva has read this book. She kind of had a little bit of a hate read with this, I believe. She couldn't stop, but she kind of hated it. I hate read things sometimes, so I totally understand. Basically, it's a romance-ish story set in a high school theater production, I believe. So I don't know a whole lot about it. I have not read it yet. So those are kind of the fun books for the kids. And now for homeschooling, we finished up British literature in November or December. So in January, we're starting into American literature. But we decided we would read The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan, which I have never read, but I've heard good things about. We were trying to make sure that our American reading list was not all white men, which is very easy to do when you look at American reading lists. So this was one of our selections so that we didn't have all white male authors. Another one we chose is Bless Me Ultima by Rudolfo Anya. And this I read when I was in high school, so it's been a long time. I believe my brother had to read it in his college freshman seminar at his college. And he brought it home, and I read it afterwards along with several other books from that class. So I'm looking forward to rereading this because I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I do remember enjoying it many, many years ago. And then the other book that we picked up for American literature, and the one we are going to read next, is The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. The next chunk of books I have are books I picked up to read along with the Close Reads podcast. So I'm not really sure what order these are going to be in or anything yet. I'm just not on top of things as usual. So the first one is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And I have heard really, really good things about this book. For some reason, I'm thinking it kind of has a little bit of like Jane Eyre vibes. I'm not really sure, but I know that there's a dead wife and a new wife, I believe. So I'm excited to see what this one's about because I really don't know a whole lot about it. Speaking of books I don't know much about, this I know absolutely nothing about. It's The Book of the Dun Cow by Walter Wangren Jr. And the back says belongs on the shelf with Animal Farm, Watership Down, and The Lord of the Rings. So, I mean, I can get into that. I haven't read Animal Farm in years, but I really enjoyed Watership Down when we read it to the girls several years ago. And I have come to love The Lord of the Rings. So, Nothing. I know nothing, but I'm looking forward to it. The next one is a book that my husband really enjoyed and has suggested to me before, and that's A Confederacy of Dunces by John Kennedy Toole. My understanding is this is a little strange, so I'm looking forward to a little bit of strangeness. It's kind of satirical, I think. I don't remember a whole lot. I remember my husband reading this a year or two ago and just really enjoying the whole thing. Next up, we have A Gathering of Old Men by Ernest J. Gaines. Another book I know very little about. It looks like it has something to do with race relations, and it's set in the 1970s, so that should be interesting. Again, I just picked it up because Close Reads was doing it, so I figured I'll read it too. And then the last of the books that I picked up for Close Reads, because I did have a couple of them already, is All the Pretty Horses by Cormac McCarthy. About the last in the line of Texas ranchers. I don't know, we'll see what I think of this. I'm not super into Western type books or books about ranching. I mean, our life is cow related, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure it will be good. I just don't really have any great desire to read it, other than I do enjoy doing the Close Reads podcast reads. The next three are books in a series that Brett has been reading that he asked me to pick up for him, and I am trying to use up all of my paperback swap credits and close down my account because I just don't use it as much as I used to. I read such weird books, sometimes it's hard to get books off paperback swap. It's much easier for me to just buy them used. So the first one is, actually I think this is the fourth in the series. Anyway, I'm not sure. I think this is maybe the third or fourth in the series. I think the first one's the first man in Rome, the last man in Rome, some sort of man in Rome. We've got Caesar and that time period going on. So this one he's started. These are long books. They're like 1,000-page. Yeah. Over 1,000-page books, but he seems to be enjoying them, and maybe someday I'll feel like a kind of historical Roman type thing and pick them up too. Also in that series, I have one that's in the mail somewhere. I think it's called Caesar, and then so I think that one comes between Fortune's Favorites and this one. This is Caesar's Women. Again, it's the Masters of Rome series, I guess is what the series is called. And yeah, another long book. This one doesn't look quite as long. Yeah, this one's just under 1,000 pages. And then the last one I have from that series is The October Horse. And this kind of cracked me up a little bit because the other night Brett showed me the covers of the newer edition and was like, ooh, look, the covers went over a big graphic design change. And yes, it was quite a bit. But the new one of The October Horse is like a centurion helmet, and this one is Cleopatra with her nipples exposed. So, it depends on your preference. I think I would have preferred the centurion helmet, but this is the one I got. Now moving into nonfiction books, I have one that was a gift to Brett from his mother and 3 that are Catholic books. So we'll just get started with the first one, which is definitely not a Catholic book. It's called True Facts That Sound Like Bullshit. Yep. My husband pretty much always has an answer and sounds like he knows what he's talking about even when he doesn't. So I understand why his mom decided he might enjoy this book, because they're true, but they don't sound like they're true. So, I don't know. I have a feeling it was in a catalog or something and she just thought it was funny. And then for Catholic books, I picked up off paperback swap St. Anthony and the Christ Child. These are the Vision biographies, I believe. actually don't know if these have a name, but they're the Ignatius Press kind of youth biographies of saints. I had this on my paperback swap wish list for probably a decade, and it was finally offered to me, so I went ahead and got it, even though it's, not exactly the target reading range or age range for my kids anymore since they're teenagers, but it's good to have around. We have quite a few of these around, and I think they're nice biographies. And then the last two books, I am assuming I got for my Catholic Read Your Way to Heaven, but it was long enough ago that I don't really remember. So we have Trustful Surrender to Divine Providence, or The Secret of Peace and Happiness by Father Jean-Baptiste Sanjor. So this one, an old book. It was printed in Canada. Yeah. I don't even know if this has a ISBN. That's how old we're talking, but it's a short little book, and I'm kind of glad to see a short little book, because sometimes the books can be a little overwhelming for the Read Your Way to Heaven reading plan. And then the last one I have is Something Beautiful for God by Malcolm Muggeridge, and it's about Mother Teresa. And, I'm good with reading about Mother Teresa. I think I can handle that. So, those are the books that I've gotten since my last book haul. Let me know if you have any thoughts on any of the books I've talked about in the comments below. Feel free to like this video if you enjoy book hauls. Subscribe. I'm not super on top of things these days, but I do like to post occasional videos all about books. So, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.